A very good morning to all our viewers. You've tuned in live on Moneycontrol. You're watching Newspresso with me, Stacy Pereira. And as the drill goes, in the next few minutes, we're going to be giving you a lowdown of all the top stories across the globe, insights into India and what's transpiring, whether it's in politics or in the corporate world, and also the latest trends that are doing the round. So let's get straight to it and bring you all that we're getting from our global dispatch. Well, it was another down session, one would say, on Wall Street, as investors are now looking forward towards that inflation data. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped about 191 points, while the S&P 500 shaved off 0.7%. Nasdaq Composite 2 shedding about 1.17%. Now, however, stocks in the futures linked to these indices are trading slightly higher. The CPI print will come out later today and could offer more insights into how the central bank as latest rate move will affect sticky prices. Now, the findings could also impact the Fed's next rate decision in its upcoming policy meeting, which will happen in September. Now, expectations are that the inflation rate will come in at 3.3%, slightly higher from what the 3% that was seen in June. Now, along with CPI, initial jobless claims as also early earnings for July will be due later today. We will also see Alibaba, Ralph Lauren declare their earnings today. Among the stock-specific action, we have Disney, which had propped up about 3% in trade after it announced that its upcoming price hike for its ad-free Disney Plus subscription. Also in other stocks, there was a Wynn Resorts, which advanced about 2% after a stronger than expected result. Across in Europe, we did see markets end higher in the previous session as traders digested that China's disinflation as well as Italy's weakening of that surprise windfall tax on banks. Now, the Pan-European Stock 600 index closed about 0.4% higher, whereas it was the oil and gas stocks which really added to the gains, about 2.3% higher, whereas this was also led by other. You saw travel and leisure stocks which were down and about 1% in trade. But like I was mentioning, it was mostly those Italian banking stocks that were all about the actions. That's because the Italian government partially backtracked on that proposed 40% windfall tax on banks' profits. This move wiping out more than 9 billion euros from their market capitalization of the Italian banking sector just in one day. Now then, in the bid to calm the market jitters, the finance ministry of Italy on Tuesday night said that it would cap the levy on the net interest income at about 0.1% of the risk-weighted assets, post which we then saw the banking stocks recover in trade yesterday. Moving on to the Asia-Pacific markets, where indices are broadly trading in a mixed range, one would say, this morning. With China inflation data now out of the way, they are placing their bets in anticipation of what the inflation numbers would come out from the U.S. In fact, Japan's Nikkei 225 has climbed marginally, whereas the Topix was up about 0.19% in opening trade. We also saw Australia's S&P ASX 200 trade above that flat line, one would say, on opening bell, while as Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index, that one dropped 0.67%. Mainland Chinese indices, though, are rebounding now and are trading higher. If you look at the GIFT Nifty, that one is indicating a slightest negative start for the Indian markets ahead of the RBI policy. And towards commodities, where oil prices have hit the highest level since January after a steep drawdown in the U.S. stockpiles, and also tighter global supplies have offset concerns over slow Chinese demand. Brent crude for now is hovering around that $87 per barrel mark. Chinese data on Tuesday showed that crude oil imports in the month of July fell to 18.8% from the previous month to their lowest daily rate since January. However, prices were supported by U.S. government's data that showed that U.S. gasoline stock has fallen by 2.7 million barrels last week. All eyes will now be on July U.S. Consumer Price Index, which is expected to show a slight year-on-year acceleration. And after seeing numerous heat waves and wildfires across the world, in EU now has gone ahead. Their climate observatory has concluded that July was the hottest month on record. In fact, they've said that July saw about 0.72 degrees Celsius warmer than the 1991 to 2020 average for the month of July. There were multiple heat waves recorded, especially in the northern hemisphere, due to which global average temperatures for 2023 have been the highest on record. The world's oceans also set for new temperature records, raising concerns about the knock-on effect on the planet's climate, marine as well as coastal life and communities. A quick check on how the markets back home performed yesterday. Well, we did see the Nifty index experiencing that strong resurgence, we would say, with that bullish momentum, especially in those last hours of trade, which resulted in that sharp recovery that we saw from the previous lower levels. Now, the Nifty and Sensex both ended 0.25% higher, we could say, Nifty reclaiming that 19,600 levels. Heavyweights like ITC, Reliance and M&M were the one batting for the bulls, one could say. Mid-caps rose in line with the blue chips, whereas it was the financials that really bucked the trend. Nifty Bank Index ending about 0.25% in the red, where ICICI Bank was the biggest laggard. If you look at the primary markets, there's some action there too. We will get to see TVS Supply Chain Solutions IPO open for subscription today. The price band for the IPO is between 187 to 197 rupees per share, and the company plans to raise about 800 odd crores to the issue. And staying with markets, well, market regulator has reduced the timeline for a listing of securities after the closure of a public issue from 3 days, which was currently then at 6 working days. This will be an option for public issues opening after September 1st of 2023 and will also then be made mandatory as a requirement for issues opening after December 1st, 2023. A circular dated yesterday, August 9th, SEBI has specified the revised timelines for listing of specified securities and various activities involved with a public issue. For example, the publishing of allotment of advertisements in newspapers can be completed by T+3. That means after 3 days of the IPO, but not later than the 4th day. This means that IPOs will now hit process in just 3 days from September onwards. And all eyes will definitely be on Governor Shaktikanta Das this morning as he'll present the outcome of what the members of the Monetary Policy Committee have decided. That will happen at 10 a.m. and we'll be getting you all of those details. But we have consensus that the MPC may leave repo rates unchanged yet again. Well, that's because of the inflationary pressures that continue to exist. If RBI chooses to hold on to its rate, it will be the third consecutive policy where the RBI maintains the status quo in key interest rate. Now, repo rates have remained unchanged at 6.5% since February of 2023. Remember, the central bank has raised the repo rates by 250 basis points since May of 2022. Now, what could happen, though, is RBI increasing the average inflation forecast marginally for the year coming ahead. This especially with soaring vegetable prices as well as the incessant rainfall that we've seen, which could add to stickier food inflation. And for the latest from the political developments, well, let's get you of all that transpired in the second day of that no confidence motion debate that is taking place in Parliament. We did see Rahul Gandhi, who took to the floor and spoke with parliamentarians this after a 4-month when he was disbarred. Now, there was a lot of back and forth in the Parliament with the opposition as well as the ruling BJP engaging in a heated war of words, we could say. Rahul Gandhi, in his speech, highlighted how the Modi government is silent over the Manipur issue. Meanwhile, Home Minister Amit Shah too spoke yesterday in Parliament and said that the people only trust the Modi government and said that the no confidence motion has been created only to create a delusion. Now listen in to what Congress as well as the BJP members had to say.
क्योंकि उनके लिए मणिपुर हिंदुस्तान नहीं है। मैंने मणिपुर शब्द प्रयोग किया, मगर आज की सच्चाई ये है कि मणिपुर नहीं बचा है। मणिपुर को आपने 2 भाग में कर दिया है, मणिपुर को आपने बांट दिया है।
मान्यवर में डे 1 से चर्चा के लिए तैयार थे, मगर वो चर्चा नहीं चाहते, उनको विरोध करना था। और मैं कहना चाहता हूं, मेरी चर्चा से संतुष्ट न होते तो फिर कहते प्रधानमंत्री करें, प्रधानमंत्री विचार भी करते, मगर आप सदन में चर्चा ही न होने दो। मणिपुर जैसे महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दे पर गृह मंत्री को अपना पक्ष न रखने दे। किस प्रकार की डेमोक्रेटिक व्यवस्था चाहते हैं माननीय?
To all the latest trends and startup industry that is really buzzing, we could say, we have a new entrant, this being Kareena Kapoor Khan, now who has joined that long list of celebrities who is betting big on Indian startups. Now, the actor has announced her partnership with a fresh fruit and vegetable brand called Pluckk. Kareena not only comes in as the startup's brand ambassador, but also will pick up a stake in the company. The firm hopes to expand its presence in the coming quarters. Let's listen into what Kareena had to say and why she chose this as her investment plan.
Pluckk is so conscious of sustainability, the fact that they know exactly what they're doing, and also, you know, if I may say, in today's time, we're all working women. Each unit, I think practically, you know, the mother, the father, the husband, the wife, everybody's working. Children are in school. Today you want to have, you know, when you're even on the go, to have that app, with trustworthy app that you know, this is going to be home, it's going to be fresh, it's going to be clean, it's, you know, eco-friendly, they're conscious, it's a company that's conscious about it.
Now, to all the auto enthusiasts who are watching the show, well, automobile Pininfarina has finally taken the wraps off that Pura Vision electric concept. Essentially, an SUV which is design and tech with that Pura Vision is what Pininfarina is calling this a luxury utility vehicle, or LUV. And the concept was originally previewed in 2019 for its global debut in 2020, though this never came to be due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And even now, though, there aren't any launch dates or timelines that are put in place. In fact, since this is just a concept, at this point, there is no confirmation if Pura Vision will even make it into production. But if you just look at those visuals on your screen, it's quite telling. You would want to see such a car on our roads sooner or later. And that's what we would expect from that concept car. Let's take you to what we're actually seeing happen. We're seeing transforming cars. That's right. Let Vision has crafted a real-life transformer using just a normal BMW car. Now, the video that has actually caught the eye of billionaire industrialist Anand Mahindra, wherein he went to share that video, and in his tweet he said, a real-life transformer developed and showcased by a Turkish R&D company. We should be having such fun at our R&D too. And he went on to tag the Mahindra leadership. Now, of course, who can't blame this fascination? The video looks clearly out of a sci-fi movie. And what all do you need to be looking out for in the day today? Well, we do have an action-packed day because we have the monetary policy outcome. We will be getting you all those updates, also the governor's speech, which will take place at 10 a.m. and the detailed analysis post that. So you need to be coming back to moneycontrol.com for all those updates. And well, from the courtrooms, we will have the Zee Entertainment and Sony merger case, which will be taken up in the NCLT in Mumbai. And they are likely to pronounce an order in that Zee Entertainment Sony merger case. And for all the action in Parliament, we already spoke about all that's happening. We are likely to see Prime Minister Narendra Modi reply to that no confidence motion, which is expected. He is expected to speak at around 5 p.m. So all of that lined up for you the rest of the day, and definitely you need to be coming back right here for your dose. But this edition of Newspresso, we need to take a break from that and hope you got all the information you needed, give you that kickstart to your day. But don't forget to come back, same place, same time, for your fresh shot of Newspresso. From all of us that put this show together, thanks so much for tuning in.